Let's get to it. Here's the brief. News from the world over this week. After 1 month with no sign of those 300 abducted schoolgirls, residents of the Nigerian capital, Abuja, staged a late-night vigil of protest. The Wednesday vigil marked 30 days since more than 300 schoolgirls were kidnapped by the jihadist group Boko Haram. At least 276 of the girls are still being held captive. Many of them were put on display in a video released earlier in the week. The jihadists are maintaining their threat to sell the girls into slavery. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has ruled out the militants' demands that he swap the girls for detained Boko Haram suspects. Besides kidnappings, Boko Haram is believed to be responsible for the deaths of some 12,000 Nigerians since 2012. In Sudan, on Thursday, a Christian woman was sentenced to death after being convicted of apostasy from Islam. 27-year-old Maryam Ibrahim is the daughter of an absentee Muslim father and was raised Christian by her mother. In 2011, she married a Christian. She was convicted on Sunday and given 4 days to repent and escape death. She failed to do so, according to authorities. The death sentence drew condemnation from Western embassies in Khartoum and from protesters outside the Sudanese court. Ibrahim was also sentenced to be given 100 lashes for committing, quote, illegitimate sex, that is to say, for having sexual relations with a non-Muslim man. Under Sudanese law, Ibrahim's marriage to a non-Muslim is regarded as void. Ibrahim and her husband have a 20-month-old son. She's 8 months pregnant with their second child. More on the continuing religious liberty atrocities committed around the world and what's being done about it in our next segment. Gay marriage received a lot of attention in the courts this week. On Tuesday, Idaho became the latest state to have a judge strike down its marriage laws. U.S. District Magistrate Judge Candy Dale ruled that Idaho's marriage law is unconstitutional, since marriage is a fundamental right for gays and lesbians. Republican Governor Butch Otter, a Roman Catholic, announced he will appeal. He noted, quote, in 2006, the people of Idaho exercised their fundamental right, reaffirming that marriage is the union of a man and a woman, end quote. And a student club at Harvard University dropped its sponsorship of a satanic black mass scheduled to take place inside a campus pub. A black mass is a satanic ceremony that mocks the Roman Catholic liturgy. The Harvard Cultural Studies Club announced at the last minute that Monday's ceremony, to be performed by the Satanic Temple of New York, would not be rescheduled and was canceled due to a lack of venue. The Archdiocese of Boston held a Eucharistic procession that began at MIT and culminated with a holy hour at St. Paul's in Harvard Square. Upwards of 2,000 people attended. Last week, Cardinal Sean O'Malley and the president of Harvard University both denounced the event, and a petition drive opposing the ceremony garnered nearly 60,000 signatures. The satanic ritual was later held at the Hong Kong Lounge, a local Chinese restaurant. Maybe they wanted spring rolls with their sacrilege. It attracted a crowd of about 50 or so Satanists, according to reports, and I imagine a few diners. And speaking of the devil and college campuses, a canonical lawsuit filed by the Exorcist author William Peter Blatty, asking the Vatican to restore the Catholic identity of Georgetown University, has received a response from the Holy See. Last fall, Blatty, a Georgetown alum, filed a petition with the Vatican asking that the Jesuit-run school be required to implement Ex Corde Ecclesiae, Pope St. John Paul II's apostolic constitution on colleges and universities, or forfeit the right to call itself Catholic. In a letter dated April 4th, the Secretary of the Congregation for Catholic Education, Archbishop Angelo Vincenzo Zani, called Blatty's petition a well-founded complaint. He added that the congregation is taking the issue seriously and is cooperating with the Society of Jesus in examining the canon lawsuit. Blatty told the National Catholic Register that he believes the Vatican's response is a positive step in a campaign to revive the Jesuit institution's commitment to its faith. And Christians in the Holy Land are protesting the ongoing vandalism of churches and holy sites ahead of Pope Francis's visit there. Protesters took to the streets of the northern city of Haifa and at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem to call for an end to the attacks. Jewish political radicals are believed to be behind the vandalism, according to reports, which over the years has included the desecration of churches and other Christian and Muslim sites. Israeli police are investigating, but so far they've had little success. At a press conference on Sunday, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Archbishop Twal, said authorities need to be doing more.
The unrestrained acts of vandalism poison the atmosphere. First of all, poison the atmosphere of coexistence and the atmosphere of collaboration, especially in these 2 weeks prior to the visit of Pope Francis.
Vandals or not, Pope Francis's journey to the Holy Land is around the corner. Be sure to tune in to EWTN for complete coverage beginning Friday, May the 23rd. You don't want to miss it. Go to EWTN.com for details and times. On a much lighter note, Pope Francis was greeted this weekend by some 300,000 school children on Saturday. Students from all over Italy filed into St. Peter's Square and packed several surrounding blocks. The Holy Father rode beyond the Vatican City borders in his Pope-mobile to greet his cheering throngs. During his address, Pope Francis told the kids he loved school because it helps us develop a sense of the true, the good, and the beautiful. He advised them to learn 3 languages: the language of the mind, the language of the heart, and the language of the hands. More on language, beauty, and truth in our children's literacy segment later in the show. And finally, a Vatican delegation visited Philadelphia this week, finalizing plans for the World Meeting of Families that will be held in the City of Brotherly Love in September of 2015. Philadelphia Archbishop Charles Chaput expressed confidence that Pope Francis would attend the event and is personally convinced that the Pope will make the trip. There's every indication he's coming, Archbishop Chaput said. The Vatican has yet to make an official statement, but popes have regularly participated in the World Meeting of Families. One way or another, EWTN will bring you full coverage of that event.